Kind of a response video to a video made by Matt, but also response to comments I've read on other videos. So I don't know if this will be two parts. It's going to cover both Avi and Matt. So I'll start with the Matt video. He was responding to The Amazing Atheist, and this is how he ended his response.
Why would you believe?
Again, Darwin's theory of evolution by variation under natural selection is a description of a process which only explains the possibility of the change of species over time. It does not explain this tendency towards complexity.
Well, that's just preposterous right there. A tendency towards complexity is not explained by Darwin. It's made quite clear that it would naturally select the more capable organism, and over time that's going to necessarily, just logically, end up being more complex organisms, because they will create nuances, changes, developments that are going to be beneficial. It's inevitable.
It doesn't explain self-organization, an organism's ability to self-produce.
Again, well, you want to argue the dynamics of cellular reproduction? Is that what you're going to do now? You're going to say that somehow the Darwinian, theory, the mechanism of natural selection, couldn't take a basic structure, a cell capable of reproducing itself, with variability, that mechanism wouldn't become very complex over 4 billion years? We understand most of the dynamics of the process, Matt. I mean, there's, yes, the exact machinery, the exact chemistry. Some of it still eludes us because we don't have the instrumentation to sit there and dissect these things as well as we would like. But with each passing year, without each passing day, we're gaining more and more knowledge. They've recently discovered the seam in our DNA that explains why we have the one less pair of chromosomes than the other great apes. And with each day, more and more information is gleaned about these mechanisms. There's no mystery to the mechanisms. They're machines, chemical machines, organized over time by a process of natural selection. You, with this extraordinary claim, have come up with nothing to explain why any other agent is necessary, or how any other agent we can even account for its existence.
It doesn't explain the symmetry of our body plans.
That's another. What a silly comment. I mean, the symmetry is quite obvious. You don't function very well on 2 legs, okay? 4 legs works better. I mean, it's like the optimal number of fingers or digits. All these things are calculated over time. It's demonstrated which becomes superfluous and which is ideal, which is a burden to the system, which maximizes efficiency. And yes, you maximize efficiency with this symmetrical model, you idiot.
There's another factor involved.
Yeah, says you, pulled out of your ass, not one shred, not one tiny shred of rational evidence.
I don't have to call it supernatural even, but I don't know that there's a better name for it. It's something that it's built into the universe that it wants to evolve. And
yeah. Well, why even use a concept like want? I mean, you're going to insult the word by saying that somehow the innate system has a capacity to do something that required 4 billion years of evolution to create, which is a want. So you're going to just pretend that a want exists without the wanting vessel. Without the vessel that can express the want, then the want can't exist, Matt. Certainly, it's a deterministic universe, so yes, we were built into the structure. The possibility that we would happen is built into the structure of the universe because we goddamn happened. It's quite obvious we're built into the system. But to say it was wanted, that's taking a gigantic, humongous, light speed, time dimension leap. I mean, that's not even close to contiguous with the logic.
I think to understand that, if you can either say I don't know, or you can try to understand it. And to understand it, you need more than a mechanical description
You need more, okay? You want more. But don't say anybody needs more, okay? The mechanical description works perfectly fine. There's no need for your God with his pokey fingers. There's no need for this dynamic, this energy, this other, I can't even call it energy because it doesn't qualify as anything part of this material universe that we can recognize. You're saying there's this mystic bullshit floating around here that's, you know, changing the ebb and flow to suit some want. No, sorry, no evidence of want anywhere.
A teleological reason, and you know that's where the theistic part of theistic evolution comes into the picture.
Yeah, theistic evolution. I mean, that's just such a goddamn slander. It is so. Well, there's nothing else to say. Well, we'll finish your video. What the hell?
Created man when evolution already provides the answer to that question. Why would you believe that God created the universe when the Big Bang already provides an answer to that?
The Big Bang does not provide an answer to what created the Big Bang.
Question.
Yeah, well, your want. What created your want, Matt? We can just play the same game. The Big Bang doesn't have to explain existence. It just has to explain what initiated our level of existence, what the nearest far back as we can go kind of thing. You know, maybe there's a further back and a further back and a further back, but you can go back forever, and it doesn't matter, because you're proposing that beyond all this further backing, there's this wisdom or this God who decided to take billions of years to create something valuable, human consciousness, somebody who could be aware of the universe and give a fuck, while the rest of the consciousness wasn't smart enough to give a fuck and could only eat each other and cause each other harm and be abusive to each other. You're going to somehow say there's a rational equation there, and that somehow the rational equation existed before the universe existed, before the universe existed, wherever it's before the universe. You're saying that innate knowledge existed first and it had no creator? I mean, it's one thing to say nothing doesn't need a creator. Idiotic forces don't need a creator. But if you're going to say there exists a goddamn intelligence, you're going to have to explain where it came from.
Much sense, folks. Just doesn't make much fucking sense. Hey.
Well, you know, maybe it doesn't, or maybe I made a little bit of sense trying to tell you why it does.
Yeah, well, you didn't even come close to making a little bit of sense, but you got nothing. You don't have one factual shred of evidence indicating the need, indicating any reason to follow this line of fucktarded speculation. This is just pull it out of your ass bullshit. This is a fairy tale you're writing, and you're calling it something that people should pay attention to, or that has some sort of merit to a civilized human. It's laughable, and it insults the very science you're trying to blend with this fucktarded notions of gods. You're insulting what scientists have attempted to achieve, which is an understanding of the truth. They didn't go through all this work so we could make a better fairy tale. I mean, that's really, I don't think, was ever in the mission statement. So, whatever. Okay, enough of that crap. So let's go to some of these jackass comments. So one of Matt's, he left one here on, I guess it's Math Fails video. Good thoughts. I think Gary has confused atheism with pessimism. Well, what's the alternative? Optimism? So religion is optimism, atheism is pessimism. What's your accusation, Matt? What's the accusation? I mean, can't you make it a little more explicit? The non-existence of a mystic God does not necessarily mean the universe is a trash compactor. Well, I don't think I ever described it as a trash compactor, but what I did describe it as is a system that has no governing force. It has no regulator. It has nothing to prevent much tragedy from taking place. It has no design skills. It has no way to evaluate a good thing from a bad thing, so it will create bad circumstances. It will allow bad things to happen because it has no capacity to regulate against them, because it has no intelligence built into it. Okay, another problem is that Gary has apparently bought all the rights to objective logic. Well, logic is logic, right? Do we have to put the word objective in front of it? I mean, isn't logic logic? So you tell me you write the better logical script, Matt, and I don't think you've done that. You haven't written any logical script. All you've said is a bunch of older fucktards, a bunch of ancient fucktards wrote a book and said blah, 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 magic serpent. I mean, you haven't done anything to validate this crap, and the few things you've attempted to do were pretty bogus. You know, microbes moving towards more heavier concentrations of food, or you know, the flagellum again. You know, come on, it's pretty desperate crap you've reached for to try to make any kind of sense out of your nonsense. As for anyone who disagrees with him, is called either dumb, a liar, or an asshole. Usually all three. Yeah, well, eventually that's what it does come down to. It's not my first reflex, but